Hello everybody, this is Thannus here, and today we are starting a new LP in the form of Metroid Prime. Now, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and, of course, this is probably the fourth time I have actually played this game before. So, just to go over a few of the controls on the Switch version of the game, you have dual analog controls, so you can aim the camera freely with the other controller. Jump is B button on Switch, Y for the morph ball, then lock on, we can't do it right now, but it's the left trigger, shooting is the right trigger, firing missiles is the right bumper, and then left bumper is also jumping. One other thing we can do, we can switch visors using the D-pad. This is our scan visor. If we scan that using the lock-on button, force field activation switches are now online. The scan visor will let us scan individual objects and also just pretty much anything or enemies. The scan visor, it's not required to do anything. Well, it is required in some spots, but not. Mostly just for puzzle solving or unlocking stuff. The scan visor is not a 100% completion requirement. Most of that is just items. But I will be trying to get as many scan entries as I can, just so we go over everything. And speaking of scan entries... Okay, there's not one for the gunship just yet. We might be able to... Ooh, I didn't know there was one for the asteroids. What? Since when? I've never noticed that before. Huh. Okay. Anyways, we got to shoot each of those switches directly. We can also scan the force field. This force field blocks the entrance. You get the idea. I'm going to wait for another asteroid to pass by because I didn't know I could scan those. That is news to me. Meteor fragment, high concentration of radiation detected, planet of origin unknown. Alright. If you're on the GameCube version of the game, I don't remember the exact controls, but they're pretty similar to this one. The only thing about the GameCube version, you cannot free aim like this. There is a system for the Switch controls. I don't remember where. It's in the options. Control scheme. Classic is the GameCube version. Basically, you can't free look. You have to hold down a button in order to do it. These are the controls, basically looking at them. We are not going to do pointer. Oh, actually, hold on. If I switch to pointer... If I switch to pointer, it is very similar to the Wii version, where I can aim with gyro, and that also aims the screen, or moves the screen. I am not playing the Wii version, and the gyro on the Switch is not quite as... it's a little bit more cumbersome than the Wii controls, so it's not what I'm going to be using. I personally very much prefer the dual stick controls. And then I believe the hybrid is a mixture of the classic and pointer. But we are going to be using dual stick because I am most comfortable with those. I have played both the GameCube and Wii versions of Metroid Prime before, so I am familiar with how those control schemes are in those versions. But for the Switch version, I prefer the dual stick. So anyways, we've landed on the Frigate Orpheon. We are going to be moving in now. I don't believe there's much else we need to scan here. Just like the 2D games, we have doors that you shoot to open. Like so. A little bit of a scanning thing on the side here. Deck Alpha, emergency evacuation area. Current status, environment unstable. So the Frigate Orpheon is the first area in Metroid Prime 1. I would like to do the other games at some point. In order to open this, we have to scan this. That'll repressurize the airlock. I don't think that's how gravity works, but you get the idea. And then right now, scanning doors just shows us where we're going. I believe later on, it doesn't matter what you scan. The doors will always show the same thing, pretty much. Got something walking around down there. Can't scan them right now, but that's fine. I do very much like how the game looks. Comparing this to the GameCube version, and I'll see if I can get a little bit of footage up on the GameCube version just to compare it. The GameCube version of the game, it looks great. It aged great for what it is. But God, if this isn't so much better. This is the appearance, this is the look that Metroid Prime has deserved this whole time. Let's scan this boy real quick. New creatures entry has been downloaded to our logbook. He is our first creatures entry. Morphology, parasite, interstellar vermin. They travel in swarms. Indigenous Talon 4, a single parasite is harmless to larger life forms. However, they tend to travel in large groups, swarming over potential prey. Such swarms can be dangerous. We also have a victim here. Morphology, space pirate. Status, death caused by a severing of the spinal cord. Ouch. Biohazardous materials, phase on batch 0009.A. Destination deck beta. Same deal there, just a different batch. We can lock onto enemies like so. That'll kill them. Basically the same functionality as scanning. That guy died with acid burns. We can also scan this creature here. Oh, that's all another space pirate. Severe flame damage. This is the creature. Morphology unknown. Info. High levels of radiation detected. Something bad happened here, and it was not great. Escape pods are all gone, which is somewhat concerning. Got a heavily injured space pirate, but he will fire at us if we get too close, so we are going to shoot him like so. Scan the energy here. I believe in the second and third games, the energies don't count as, or the ammunition and energy refills don't count towards your logbook, but in this game they do. So once you find an energy size or refill size you have not seen before, try your best to make sure you scan it if you do want to get logbook completion. In the... I don't remember exactly which versions of the game. I believe in all versions of the game, scanning every entry of the logbook gives you something. I don't recall exactly what the prize for doing so is in the GameCube version, or what they are in... Well, actually, in the Wii, which is only in the trilogy. If you live in the US or Europe, they only release the Wii version independently in Japan. But if you're playing on the Metroid Prime Trilogy release or the Switch release, I believe scanning everything gives you more entries in your concept art gallery, which is accessed by the main menu of the game. Space Pirate, death caused by excessive blunt trauma to cranium. Although this debris is obstructing the hallway, it looks like it can be easily removed. Yes, we are going... Okay, it was not the missile. I'm sorry. I lied. We gotta shoot it like that. Charge beam. These guys here are showing us a little secret. Most secrets in the game will not be found like that. You'll have to actually look for them. That's just kind of an indication that you can find secrets in this game. Before we step to that, 2 Parasite Queen specimens have become volatile in deck beta. I did not press A. All security personnel should report to the biotech research area. Parasitic infestation has been detected in the ventilation systems of decks Gamma and Beta. Talon 4 Ground Zero area secure. Crater radiation readings normal. And last but not least, Frigate exterior hull stable and fully functional. Now this is a map station. Map stations will basically be able to give us the entire map data of the whole area we're in. It won't necessarily always count for certain secret areas. Same deal as the 2D games. If it wants you to find something on your own, it might not be on the map. But the map will overall give you a pretty accurate lay of the land. Now we're going to go back through here and continue moving forward. And this is an elevator. Elevators you have to scan to activate, not that center section. That'll just indicate to you that you need to turn it on. So we're going to go ahead and scan that there, and that will turn the elevator on. If you'd like, you can scan it once again. It's not a research entry, but it'll just tell you that the platform is now active. You can tell on your mini-map in the corner which way you're facing relative to the room, so if you want to turn around to face the door, you can. And we can step off right there. So we got a little bit of a hazard here, some zappy stuff. This energy conductor unit has been damaged. Use caution when approaching the arcing electricity. Specimen containment breach on deck beta. All crew report for lockdown. So we gotta wait for the electricity to stop and go right on through. On the side of our screen, there's that little exclamation point. The closer we get to a hazard, the more that will move. And then on the right side of the screen, I forgot to mention this earlier, we also have how much ammo we have. The top right of our screen is our map. The top left of the screen is a radar that shows our proximity to enemies and where relative to us they are. And then at the very top of the screen is our health and number of energy tanks. Bottom left, bottom right is the visor and weapon mode we're on. So it looks like we have some real enemies this time, or at least one that's up and walking. Severe internal damage detected. Let's get rid of both of these bozos so they don't kill us. Fluid stacks in the mouth and large after mutation. This allows for increased production of corrosive bile. Parasitic egg in pupa stage. Its tough exoskeleton protects it from the mother's acidic embryonic fluid. After mutation, the carapace of the larva becomes rigid. The carapace is quite resilient, able to resist the attacks of many predators. Combat mutation applications are complete. The primary legs of this creature possess galvanized tips, allowing it to penetrate any known alloy. And that is pretty much the gist on whatever this thing is. We got one in the tank right there. Morphology unknown. Low life signs detected. This creature appears to be in a state of stasis? I'm Western now. Yeehaw, I'm a cowboy. Specimen cell C, status unknown. Rejection of phazon compound detected. So they're running some sort of experiment on this space station. Or this frigate, whatever you want to call it. And we have to get to the bottom of it. Can't jump down there quite yet. But we'll be down there eventually. Don't you worry. Usually, if something counts as a major logbook entry, it'll be either bright orange and hovering over an enemy or item that you have never seen before, or it'll be a red icon that indicates that you have not scanned it before. This is an enemy, so it's orange. A new creature's entry has been downloaded to your logbook. This is an auto turret. The best way to defeat these things is by using missiles, like it said. Got a missile refill there. That's a small one, so it'll only refill 3 missiles. Alright. And we have another new area here. Morphology unknown info. This specimen has been horribly mutated. There are no life readings. Like I said, the red entries for the non-enemy or ammo scans are the only ones that generally count towards your logbook. However, the orange ones will give you some little bits of lore. I'm not going to be scanning every orange entry, or at least not reading them out loud in full, just for brevity's sake, but I will be getting all of the red ones for sure. A new pirate data entry has been downloaded to your logbook. Space pirate encrypted data encoded. Log 09992.3. Zebes has fallen. All ground personnel are presumed dead, either killed by the hunter-clad metal or the subsequent destruction of the underground facilities. Our research frigates Orpheon, Syriacus, and Vol Paragom were in orbit at 0 hour and managed to retreat. Frigate Orpheon is now docked at Vortex Outpost. Orpheon's cargo appears to have a 100% survival rate. Metroids are healthy but on restricted feeding schedules due to uncertain supply status. We are ready to begin research on the Metroids and other promising life forms. Security status remains at Code Blue. No signs of pursuit from the hunter. Well, evidently that did not last because we are here now. But that lore blurb also provides a little bit of interesting details. This does not take place very long after the events of Zero Mission, because it mentions their defeat at my hands, or Samus's hands, I should say. That just disabled the auto turret, which we would have to fight otherwise. But, like I was saying, it kind of indicates their defeat at the hands of Samus on Zebes. At least I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Zebes. I didn't notice that. I didn't know that it moved up like that. I have heard some people pronounce it Zeebs. This enemy is not in the game. I don't know if it was supposed to be or if this is just an Easter egg of that enemy. But that enemy is not in the game. That's just an enemy from other Metroid games. That's just, it's like a little cameo appearance. But you don't ever encounter that in the game proper. All right. So, just scanning the rest of our stuff here, making sure we got everything checked out. Like I said, the orange ones aren't required. I just like to scan them and read through them a little bit. Obviously, I wasn't reading through them very thoroughly there, but you get the idea. Got another space pirate up here. Let's deal with him. That is a Geemer. Zoomer, sorry. Geemers look very similar. Plated parasite larva. Something in there. Another injured space pirate. They're all over the place here. It's like you guys own the place or something. If you hold down the charge beam, any refills will come to you. A war wasp, my sworn enemy. Oh, I think that is the first non-injured pirate we have encountered. Never mind, he is very, well, he's kind of injured. If you're locked onto an enemy and you press B while moving left to right, it'll strafe instead of jump, which is a useful thing. God, I hate war wasps so much. There's a shriek bat. We got ourselves another shriek bat, ice shriek bat. This is basically a teaser section of the enemies we'll be seeing in this game. He just died right in front of us, I think. No, he's not dead. Awkward. Alright, moving on. Alright, got another auto turret there. Let's get rid of that. We can go ahead and scan that to get into Deck Gamma. This is basically an elevator of sorts. Again, I have to applaud them for how amazing the graphics look in this game. Obviously, there's only so much you can do with the Switch, but this is really impressive for the Switch. Like, this is one of the best looking games in the library, and I am very happy that they're going in a similar direction with how Metroid Prime 4 looks. I think if it had kept up the same, or if it had done like a more realistic approach, I guess. Like, Metroid doesn't have the most unrealistic art style, but I feel like the way that they're doing Prime 4 in this game, it really serves the art style well. And I am very excited for Metroid Prime 4, which is releasing next year, finally. Alright, if we place a bomb there, also I forgot, if you shoot while you're in Morph Ball form, it will place a Morph Ball bomb. That's how you activate those locks there. Got two of these we got to deal with here. No big deal. Like I mentioned earlier, Charge Beam can be used to draw on pickups. You get the idea. And we are almost in to the final room here. Here we go. This, my friends, is the first boss of Metroid Prime. The Parasite... Oh, bumped on my microphone there. That was unfortunate. The Parasite Queen. Morphology, Parasite Queen. Parasite female, genetically enhanced by unknown means. A weak spot has been detected in this creature's mouth. Use your auto-targeting to acquire this new target. Scans indicate the presence of a potent mutagen, origins unknown. Creature exhibits the ability to fire weapon-grade blasts of energy from its mouth, a trait not present in the standard parasite genome. It appears the pirates have begun a bioengineering program with considerable results. With most enemies and bosses, it'll give you hints on how to defeat them when you scan them. Parasite Queen is a pretty easy boss. You kind of just have to strafe it and shoot it in its mouth as much as possible. You can get some shots in during this weird rotating section where the shields go wild, but otherwise you just kind of got to shoot it while the shields are moving around it slowly. But yeah, the Parasite's Queen, pretty simple boss, but it does have one of the best boss themes in the game. Also, I believe Smash Ultimate finally added a stage based on the Parasite Queen fight. I might be misremembering what game it was added in, and I might be misremembering whether or not it's a stage at all. So the Parasite Queen is done already. Very quick boss, like I said. But we made quick work of it.
Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately.
And now, with our job more or less done, we need to get out of Dodge. The alarms are going crazy and things are bad. Activate this elevator here. And let's get moving. Man, can this thing go any slower? Wow. Alright. Deactivate the turrets because we do not need that smoke right now. We got another Parasite Queen right there, wreaking havoc on the space pirates. Okay, it says it's deceased, but it looks very much alive right now. Not a big deal. Let's just fight our way through the surviving space pirates and get the hell out of here. There's a little section here we can make our way through. Basically running through the ventilation. There's the parasites. They're all over the place. These guys can be farmed a little bit for some extra energy if you want, but your main goal is just getting out alive. Shoot this big door to get through, and keep it moving. Alright. There are parasites everywhere on this ship. Good thing it's blowing up. Am I right? Oh yeah, that was supposed to blow up. I don't know why that took so long to blow up. Alright, we're almost out. Deal with these. Come on, open. Open sesame. Thank you. This is not a very hard section to escape. If you die during this section, I would honestly be impressed, because it is not really something you can do on accident. You would have to go out of your way to try to lose this section. I'm sure you get the idea. Alright, we're almost through. Just gotta keep it moving and don't get crushed by it. I don't even know if it's possible to get crushed by this thing, in all honesty. I have never really tried, and I'm not going to right now. Alright, we got one last area here. And we got a bigger problem up top. So, it looks like Ridley did not survive our encounter on... Or he did survive our encounter on Zebes, but now he is more machine than man, a la General Grievous or whatever. I'm sure that won't be something we have to deal with later. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, yeah, don't worry about that. I just bumped into that. I wasn't paying attention. And so we see ye old Metroid tradition of losing our entire suit functionality at the very start of the game for some reason or another. A tale as old as time, truly. This is one of the games where it kind of makes sense, though. Room is depressurizing. Let's get through it. Game where it makes the least sense is in Metroid Other M. We're not gonna get into that right now, though. Other M has its own deal. Thank you for letting me know we've unlocked new extras in the main menu. We'll save, sure. Welcome, everybody, to the planet of Talon 4. We're gonna have a lot of time to explore this new planet, and we will start doing so in the next episode. Let's grab our ship ship logbook entry. Yeah, there. Alright. I'll see you guys in the next episode of Metroid Prime. Bye-bye.